High atop the frozen peaks of the Himalayas, a storm of unprecedented fury begins to brew, hiding secrets that have been buried for thousands of long years. The earth itself trembles under the weight of an ancient power, a legendary creature of the white hell that is finally stirring from its long, icy slumber. Behold the Yeti, the mythical guardian of the high peaks, whose roar can shatter the silence of the night and strike terror into the hearts of men. This ancient giant has reigned supreme for eons, a beast of pure muscle and instinct, surviving in a world where only the strongest can ever hope to endure. But today, the silence of the Himalayas is broken by a challenge that comes not from the earth below, but from the dark and frozen sky above. Welcome to the land of ancient nightmares, where the legends of old come to life in a brutal struggle for dominance over the world's highest frozen throne. The air turns brittle and the stars fade away as a shadow darker than the night itself descends upon the peaks, bringing a cold that kills instantly. Something ancient has returned from the edge of the atmosphere, a specter of the clouds that hasn't been seen by living eyes for many countless centuries. The ancient ice dragon, a master of the sub-zero skies, lands with a force that cracks the very foundation of the mountain, claiming its rightful territory. With wings of frost and scales harder than any steel, this predator of the heights is the ultimate manifestation of the blizzard's cruel and unforgiving power. It lets out a piercing cry that echoes through the valleys, a declaration of war against the beast that dares to stand in its path of conquest. Two titans of the cold now face each other, ready to spill blood on the white canvas of the peaks in a battle for supreme mountain dominance. The stage is set in a natural cathedral of ice, where the laws of nature will be written in the violence of these two prehistoric mountain giants. The Yeti charges with the fury of a landslide, using its immense physical strength to bridge the gap between itself and its legendary winged and lethal foe. With a strike that could level a village, the beast creates a wave of destruction, testing the defenses of the dragon in this first brutal exchange. But the dragon is fast, its tail whipping like a frozen scythe to strike the Yeti, sending the great white ape crashing into the jagged rock walls. Claws meet fur and bone meet scale in a frantic display of primal violence, each blow landing with enough power to crack the very mountain air. Using raw leverage, the Yeti retaliates, shattering the environment as it tries to ground the dragon and turn the battle into a close-quarters wrestling match. Every second is a struggle for survival, a desperate dance between the biting cold of the dragon's fangs and the crushing grip of the Yeti's hands. The chaos of the storm masks the carnage, as these two legends tear into one another with a hatred that has lasted for many thousands of years. It is a clash of pure physical might against the supernatural power of the elements, and neither side is willing to yield an inch of ground. The dragon retreats to the air, gathering the essence of the blizzard in its throat to unleash a weapon that can freeze the very soul itself. A stream of absolute zero erupts from its maw, a breath of death that turns the moisture in the air into a wall of solid, jagged ice. The Yeti is caught in the blast, its mighty limbs slowing as the ice takes hold, threatening to turn the king of the peaks into a statue. But the will to live is stronger than the frost, and with a burst of pure adrenaline, the beast shatters its icy prison to keep fighting. Refusing to be defeated, the Yeti arms itself with the mountain itself, wielding a pillar of stone as a shield against the dragon's freezing elemental fire. With a roar of defiance, it hurls the massive weight, disrupting the dragon's flow and forcing the aerial predator to defend its own vulnerable and scaly body. Even the cold of the grave cannot quench the fire of the Yeti's rage. As the battle reaches a new and even more deadly level, the fight moves to the very edge of the world, where the cliff drops away into nothingness and the wind howls like a choir of ghosts. In a final, desperate gamble, the Yeti leaps, defying gravity to bring the dragon back down to the earth, where the real killing can finally happen. The beast clings to the dragon's spine, its fingers digging into the gaps between the scales as they tumble through the chaotic and freezing mountain air. With primitive brutality, the Yeti shreds the dragon's wings, grounding the master of the sky and turning the predator into a desperate and broken prey. They fall together, a tangled mess of fur and scales, still biting and clawing at each other as the ground rushes up to meet them both. The end is coming fast, and neither monster is willing to let go, choosing to embrace the impact rather than lose the fight for mountain glory. One last strike of pure hatred is delivered as they vanish into the white void, a final moment of violence before the earth claims its heavy toll. The impact echoes like a bomb through the mountain range, sending a massive plume of snow into the air that hides the outcome of the fall. For a moment, there is only silence as the mountains hold their breath to see which of the two legends has survived the catastrophic and deadly drop. In this frozen wasteland, there are no retreats and no surrenders, only the finality of death or the bitter glory of a very hard-won victory. As the fog begins to lift, the scene of the carnage is revealed. A graveyard of ice where the fate of the Himalayas was finally decided today. From the depths of the wreckage, a sign of life appears, a testament to the incredible resilience of a creature born from the very heart of winter. The Yeti rises, battered and broken but still standing, while its rival lies still, its crystalline wings shattered and its life force finally extinguished forever. The king has reclaimed his throne, standing over the corpse of the Sky Terror to prove that muscle and grit can overcome even the deadliest of magic. His roar is a warning to all who would dare challenge the Lord of the Heights, a sound that will be remembered for another 1,000 long years. As the sun rises over the Himalayas, the legend is renewed, and the mountain once again belongs to its original, most powerful, and solitary master protector. The legend of the Snow Peak is now etched in blood and ice, leaving only one king to rule over the silent, frozen graveyard of the mountains.